Northern California, 1968. A place of extraordinary beauty, about to become hunting ground. Vallejo, California, a working-class city, population 280,000. Trust was the currency here. People left their doors unlocked. Teenagers drove to lovers' lands at night. Nobody thought twice about it. Lake Herman Road, outside Vallejo, a lover's lane. December 20th, 1968. David Faraday, 17 years old. Betty Lou Jensen, 16 years old. Their first date, their last night. Someone approached the car, slowly, deliberately, with intent. A passing motorist found them, called for help. Two young people, gone. Solano County Sheriff's Department opened a murder investigation. No witnesses, no suspect, no idea this was only the beginning. 7 months passed, no further attacks. The investigation stalled. Vallejo dared to breathe. July 4th, 1969. Blue Rock Springs Park, Vallejo. Independence Day celebrations. A couple in a parked car. A car pulled up alongside them, parked, left, then came back. 40 minutes after the attack, a payphone call to Vallejo police. Calm voice, gave the address, claimed responsibility for both murders. August 1st, 1969. 3 letters, 3 newspapers, simultaneously. Each letter contained 1/3 of a cipher, 408 symbols. He claimed it would spell his name. The newspapers published the letters. The name spread across California. The Zodiac. He had chosen it himself. A circle, a cross, his signature. One of the most recognized symbols in American criminal history. 1 week later, a teacher named Donald Hardin and his wife Betty solved the cipher. It did not reveal his name. Instead, a message about killing for pleasure, about collecting slaves, about never being caught. September 27th, 1969. Lake Berryessa, Napa County. A Saturday afternoon. Brian Hartnell, 20 years old. Cecilia Shepard, 22 years old. A blanket on the shore. An ordinary afternoon. A figure emerged from the trees, wearing a hood. On the bib, a symbol sewn in white, a circle, a cross. He produced rope, asked her to tie him up, then took control himself, planning within planning. Before leaving, he wrote on the car door, his previous attacks listed. He was keeping score. Brian Hartnell survived. Cecilia Shepard was airlifted. She died 2 days later without regaining consciousness. At the payphone nearby, a partial palm print, physical evidence, never matched. October 11th, 1969. San Francisco. A graduate student driving his cab at night. Paul Stein, 29 years old. A passenger at Mason and Geary. Destination, Presidio Heights. His last fare. He wiped down the cab, took a section of the victim's shirt, walked into the Presidio, and disappeared. Officers flooded the Presidio. They stopped a man walking in the dark. The radio description said black male. This man was white. They let him go. Minutes later, the description was corrected. White male. Officers searched again. The Zodiac was gone. 2 days after the Stein murder, another letter to the Chronicle. Enclosed, a piece of the victim's shirt. He wanted them to know it was him. The letter mocked police, described walking past officers, told them exactly how close they came, and laughed at them for missing it. November 1969. A new cipher, 340 symbols, the Z340. It would resist solution for 51 years. December 2020, 3 amateur codebreakers cracked the Z340, 51 years after it was written. The message contained no name, no location, no identity, just the voice of someone enjoying the game. The letters kept coming through 1969 into the 1970s, each one a performance, each one demanding an audience. The investigation was unprecedented. 4 separate agencies, 4 separate jurisdictions, one killer connecting them all. Pre-computer era, every tip on an index card, every lead filed manually, the system drowning in its own thoroughness. Fingerprints, palm prints, handwriting samples, DNA from envelopes, all of it pointing to a person, none of it pointing to a name. The geography was the shield, multiple counties, multiple jurisdictions, information that should connect, separated. Hundreds of tips per week, every lead followed, every suspect checked. The Zodiac was never among them. A psychological profile was built, educated white male, technical background, familiar with cryptography, possibly military or law enforcement. Robert Graysmith, political cartoonist, consumed by the case. He would spend years investigating independently. The locations were searched again and again, the evidence documented exhaustively, repeatedly, without resolution. DNA testing in 2002 did not match Allen to the Zodiac, did not eliminate dozens of others. The science advanced, the answer didn't. Investigative genetic genealogy caught the Golden State Killer, the same technique applied to the Zodiac, results not publicly confirmed. The DNA exists, the envelope flaps, the saliva, waiting in an evidence locker. The California Department of Justice has never closed this case. It remains officially open. The investigation continues. The Z13 remains unsolved. 13 symbols. The Zodiac claimed it spelled his name. Nobody has cracked it, yet. 50 years, the clock still runs. The case file stays open. The killer was never found. The detectives who worked this case carried it into retirement. Several carried it to their graves, the wound that never healed. Every year, every new technique, every new suspect announced, every press conference, the same answer: not yet. Somewhere in the world, in a house, in a grave, in a prison cell, is the answer. We do not have it. 5 people, 5 complete lives, 5 cases never closed. Their names deserve to be spoken. David Faraday, 17 years old, Eagle Scout, cross-country runner, kind, responsible, full of promise. Betty Lou Jensen, 16 years old, drill team, outgoing, cheerful. She deserved better. Darlene Farron, 22 years old, a waitress who remembered every order, a mother, a daughter, a 22-month-old baby girl at home. Cecilia Shepard, 22 years old, music student, piano player, singer, described as one of the kindest people her friends had ever known. Paul Stein, 29 years old, graduate student in English literature, driving his cab to fund his degree, reading Thomas Hardy. Darlene's daughter, Deja, was 22 months old. She grew up without her mother. She still has no answers. Brian Hartnell survived, stabbed 6 times at Lake Berryessa. He has spoken publicly about the case for over 50 years, still waiting. Cecilia Shepard's family waited at that hospital. She never regained consciousness. She never knew Brian had survived. Michael Maggio survived, shot 4 times, watched Darlene die, gave police a description that was detailed and consistent. No trial was ever held, no verdict ever delivered, no sentence ever handed down, no justice for any of them. David, Betty Lou, Darlene, Cecilia, Paul. They were buried. Their cases were not. 5 flames, 5 names, 5 lives that mattered more than any cipher ever will. Behind each name, a family permanently altered. Parents, siblings, children, friends. A wound in each of them that never fully closed. The hills are the same. The roads are the same. The lakes are the same. The people taken from them, gone. December 20th, 1968, the stars above Lake Herman Road were the same stars as every other night. Lake Herman Road still exists. Locals know what happened there. The case is still open. 5 photographs, 1 question mark, 50 years, still no answer. The case became culture, books, films, documentaries. The Zodiac entered the mythology of American true crime permanently. Robert Graysmith's book became a landmark, the obsession the case creates documented in its own pages. December 20th, 2020, 3 people in 3 countries cracked the Z340 51 years after it was written. The DNA from the envelope flaps, still there, still being analyzed, still being compared, the answer still pending. The survivors are older now. The investigators are retired or gone. The families have waited 50 years. The patience required is extraordinary. The case generates obsession, millions of searches, thousands of theories, hundreds of suspected identities, 1 confirmed, unknown. The symbol he chose, designed to feel permanent, to feel cyclical, inevitable, impossible to erase. Northern California, 2024. The hills unchanged, the case unchanged. The California Department of Justice has never closed this case. The door remains open, technically, officially, hopefully. The families of the 5 victims have waited for 50 years. That waiting has become a permanent part of their lives. If he is still alive, the Zodiac is in his 70s or 80s now, walking somewhere in someone's neighborhood. 5 murders, 0 convictions. The scale has never balanced. It may never balance. 13 symbols. He said it was his name. Nobody has cracked it. Not yet. Every day the investigation continues somewhere, in a laboratory, in a genealogy database, in a detective's office. David Faraday, Betty Lou Jensen, Darlene Farron, Cecilia Shepard, Paul Stein. He wanted to be remembered as the Zodiac, as the symbol, as the ciphers, as the unanswered question. Remember instead 5 names, 5 people, 5 lives. That is what this story is about. The Zodiac killer was never caught. The case remains officially open. 5 victims, never forgotten.